Well, we're back from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business. We're into our last hour of the show. 1 minute past 9 o'clock, and we continue to give you more business updates as they do happen in real time. Now, as we give you the business updates, remember to also invest in securities. And of course, investment is wide, but the opportunities are many. If you're to invest in securities, for example, with 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you can easily invest in government bonds. Star 292 hash is the USSD code that you can use to get ushered into the Zabo platform, and you kickstart off your investment journey. The markets on this platform open at 8:15 a.m. and closing time is 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. Do remember that with this particular platform, there is a lot to be deserved or to be desired, and you can invest and grow your investments. Zabo, my money, my future. Alltech East Africa, do something new today. And now we're getting into our Smb Insight, which Rita Andrew takes us through.
Well, looking at our insight this morning,
first of all, is cheap. It's cheap to use, it's cheap to install. Solar is clean. By meaning of clean, it doesn't pollute.
Well, getting into our insight this morning, of course, we shall be looking at the threat that is under, which is being faced by the Nile River. And of course, we see that Africa's longest river, that is the Nile, is facing a threat. Now, the Nile is under threat, of course, and it's essential. That is for millions of people, including in Sudan. But it could vanish due to factors including the rising sea levels that is resulting to salt water intrusion downstream. But maybe we could have a look at the statistics in there, which of course compiled by the different geographers trying to observe how there is some little bit of erosion happening in there. And we know that it's being shared by 3 countries which are really benefiting from it at a very, very, very great deal. And we see that there is a story here of Ahmed Bakar, who had spent decades growing vegetables, that is, and grains near the River Nile in Sudan's capital. Now, the continent's longest river is essential for millions of people. Now, of course, global warming and misuse by humans are now jeopardize the future of the world's longest river, and the flow of the Nile has fallen. That is 3,000 cubic meters per second. And if you are to really take a few points to take notice of here, we see that the Nile flow actually fell from 3,000 cubic meters per second to 2,880. That is in the past 5 decades. And of course, we also see that increased droughts could cause the flow to fall by 70%. That is by 2,100. Of course, he has so many years to come. That is according to the United Nations forecasts. And 75% loss predicted, of course, available per local resident. Jerome, when you hear about the degradation of this, what do you really think? I feel it's not just about the agriculture, but the fact that there are dams across which generate power for countries to run, and if such threats are being really experienced, what can we really anticipate from it? Looking at that, you see Nile flow, the flow which it fell from 3,000 cubic meters. This is more of, I think these are geographers that make these figures, who measure this, falling from 3,000 cubic meters per second to 2,830. That is in the past 5 decades. So that is the last 50 years, But you see, there is just a slight decline of about 230, roughly there, of a decline. And now we see down here something that 75% loss predicted of available water. That is per local residents. So we are looking at locals, the rate at which water will be lost. Can I say water loss is predicted at 75% for an individual? That's quite a lot, most especially for people that are staying around the Nile. Well, so
But by the look of things here, when you look at 2 years back, there was a slight observation with the fact that the water levels were increasing, not only with Lake Victoria, but when you look at the Nile River as well. But this is my take on the kind of situation of all what is on screen there. Is pretty much giving us a warning against climate change in the few years to come. Okay. When you look at even the weather conditions that we've been experiencing a few days back in regards to what is happening in the country, the kind of hot temperatures we're experiencing lately, you can easily see that it's a huge warning ahead. And some of the geographers furthermore do warn us that in the next few months to come, it may actually be heavy rains coming, and we should be expecting flooding, with the mere fact that now what we are experiencing is pretty much heavy droughts. We're experiencing some droughts, and it is a dry season, hot temperatures in there. So we could easily see why they're saying increased droughts could cause the flow to fall by 70% by 2100, according to the United Nations forecast. That is most especially as we're heading into the next century or so. So furthermore, still, if you're to look at a 75% loss predicted of available water per local resident, still going back to a warning of
that is very
to do with
big. Climate change, global warming and all that.
Yes, and by the look of things here, in Uganda, if you're to look at, for example, Ugandan's perspective, the natural resources that we have, speaking of which, looking at the sources of water, fresh water, you can't go short of mentioning River Nile, and its importance even goes way beyond, because it is where we as well generate the hydroelectric power. Now, we also look deeper in looking at Lake Victoria, for example. So it's wide. It's really huge. There's an impact that we should be able to at least see a lot more of that.
All right.
But with the warning of increased droughts that are likely set to expose our country, it is not the best for us, or it is not what we may wish to have as a country in the few years to come. But the projection of this in regards to the kind of weather changes, or as well as climate change and everything, I do believe it is something that we should work upon. We as for example, Ugandans, because if they can't, it's now 4 countries benefiting from this.
World's largest river, located in Africa, flows over 6.
After we had South Sudan coming up as an independent country, we realize now we have 4 countries that benefit from River Nile, and of which Uganda benefiting also. We're getting a lot from River Nile. Speaking of which, it does add up to tourism. Tourism, for example, the source. Then you add to hydroelectric power. It is generating a lot for Egypt. Revenues. Egypt's economy, industrialization, agriculture benefits a lot when it comes to the Nile River.
Even power generation, I think.
So you get to realize that this is just a very huge caution in regards to climate change in the near future.
Well, that is very interesting. Well, still further looking at the report here, we see that water expert, that is Ahmed, that Al Mufti predicts that, of course, most serious problems are around the corner, with the expected loss of water for environmental impacts. And of course, another issue is the increased population against the current Nile quota. That means that overuse of Nile water and increase of misusage, all unexpected, which threatens the future, and that is of the river. Now, the lack of rainfall and increased droughts expected in Africa means river flow could fall by 70%. Of course, according to what we are seeing there, in the year 2100, that will be quite very many more years ahead. I think we shall not be around. 2100 is quite many years, but of course we don't need to be careless, because these are our generations, these are our grandchildren that will be partaking of our indifferences of what we do right now. Now, in 2010, 5 upstream states that is signed a cooperative framework agreement, and of course the textile outlines principles rights and obligations for cooperative management and development of the Nile Basin water sources. And now still experts believe that the river can only be served rather if the countries it passes through commit to better joint management and sustainable development policies. Well, that is it regarding our insight this morning, and coming up we're going to be reviewing the story of the day, and we are joined straight with Nahabe Rona. Is a reporter that is for oil and gas, and she's going to be giving us an insight regarding what she has for us today. Rona, welcome on set.
Very good morning to
good
you
morning.
And Sonko.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to be working on today, or what viewers should expect today, is in regards to the South African Trade Summit between Uganda and South Africa. Well, we're looking at 300 delegates that have moved there for trade, tourism, and a political summit.
Yeah.
Of course, today is when His Excellency is going to be will be there for the summit. The other delegates went yesterday, and we are looking at trade opportunities and enhancing the trade relations between the two countries.
Oh, that is quite really great.
Yeah.
Joram, do you really think there is quite a great window for Uganda in here for this summit, the trade summit, most especially if you have to look at that sort of joint ventures between the private sectors of South Africa and that of Uganda?
First, when I look back through the days when it was initially launched at the Uganda Media Center, when you look back at these particular summits and every little detail about the summits that we've been having here and those that we've been having out of the country, the summits and symposiums, I believe, like Ron has mentioned, is when you rotate, it rotates more around boosting trade than investment. And strategically, when you look, if we had to look back a little bit, Uganda's relations with South Africa, I think we're not, we do not have, on record, it's not that it's one of our biggest traders, or let's say trading partners on the continent, because when you look at Uganda's trading partners, mainly are around the East African community. So we want to expand. And not ruling out the fact that we've been trading with South Africa, exports, imports, looking at the fact that South Africa, yesterday we were talking about South Africa's automotive industry and why Uganda needs to go into this summit and at least pick a leaf from them. So I think this is going to boost a lot, and it will be a win for us.
In that particular regard, you do know that South Africa is Uganda's biggest foreign direct investment. Well, we are importing from them banking, energy, telecommunication services, all these.
So they are directly benefiting from us.
Yeah, amounting to around $220 million US. On the other hand, for us, we export vanilla, coffee, and other commodities which amount to $11 million US. So you can see the difference, 220, 11. So we'd want to benefit also, just like we are paying that much from them, we should also be receiving that much from them. And we're hoping that from this trade summit, that will be improved, especially in areas of tourism, because they have said it before that Uganda has fresh air. We are very blessed with good environment, wildlife, issues to do with nature. So we're hoping to benefit. And just like Honorable Anita mentioned, they also flew there with the Uganda Airlines. So maybe you never know, it could benchmark for more trade relations.
For Uganda. I believe the reason as why it's when we mention investment, I think now Uganda should at least position itself in at least saying that our traders can benefit. Because if we are importing as many as the goods you've mentioned, you do realize we need to even export more goods besides agricultural products. Because at least we've had and we do have a number of things that we can give to South Africa. Besides having a lot of Ugandans who go and work in South Africa, I believe most of the basama that we have come from South Africa. They always go work in South Africa for a full year, return in December, 11 months away from Uganda. They come splash the money here. But I think we can formalize the kind of business transactions and the businesses we do between the two countries and this is going to be a huge milestone for that. But by the look of things as well, as you've been following up on some of the investment summits that we've been having, what has been your key highlight of most of them? What has been maybe your observation with these summits?
Well, for one particular one that I attended, I think early last year, of the Uganda-Turkey summit.
Okay.
I don't know that those investors were given free land in Nakasongola to build a hub.
Okay.
So you can see the benefits that come with that. 20 years free tax holdage. That comes with such an investment. So they are really given. What I would not want to term so much, maybe it will yield. Because 20 years without paying taxes, free land, and who knows what else that these investors are given. So maybe this investment summit will be a little bit different since it's in Africa compared to what is happening in Turkey, India, and all these summits that we have been having. What I'm saying is these investors are really given leverage to really, and in their defense, they say they are creating a favorable climate for them to invest and, investor confidence. So we are hoping that these two presidents strike a deal and it is beyond free land.
Okay.
Yeah.
But of course, these discussions this time around are in South Africa, so the South Africans still have a upper hand of the discussions or setting an agenda that will benefit them.
Especially since they inject in a lot of money and we just import around $11 million.
Yeah. So that means they are putting themselves in. Well, I also have belief in the Uganda Investment Authority representatives. I believe maybe this time around we shall be in a position where we shall also earn something. Maybe a percentage, a 50-50 would do. Yeah. A win-win for the both of us would be doing a lot. I don't know what's your take on that, Andrew, but especially rotating around the automotive, for example, automation and everything. South Africa's technology world is moving faster than ours. The only challenge they have is that last year they had issues with power cuts and load shedding.
Not even last year, they still have a problem with load shedding.
Even this year. Yeah. Now you can see that may be the only thing that is affecting them, but their industrialization is way higher than ours.
South Africa is actually one of the countries which are endowed, with natural resources and as such. And looking back, you mentioned the automation industry, and now that our delegates are in South Africa, how I wish we really benchmark, because Jora, what really discourages me, she has mentioned about the investors that came to Nakasongola. How many? We've had so many of these conferences. Actually, I was one of the, some time back I was in field and, I was in some conference. I told this person that, what, I'm fed up of this. We are good at making conferences. We are here. But when do we really see results? When every day fuel prices are increasing, the standards of living, taxes are rising on a day. So what is there to learn? What are we picking from this? Even what we are benchmarking, we come back and totally do the opposite. So at some point, now coming back to the automation industry, South Africa, because I believe there are countries which have better automation industries than South Africa, and our delegates have gotten a chance to reach there. So the question is, what they got in there, how was it applicable? I think the only experience that we had as Uganda, seeing people going and we feel an impact, is when they say, when we launched the satellite, saying that this was something from students that went to the Institute of Hiroshima, and they studied space engineering. They came back and built a satellite. Okay, I can feel the impact of that, but we need more than that. Yes, I went to South Africa for this conference. We learned this. I came back to Uganda, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I've done. I've been able to do this, and my country, I'm giving back to my country. Such stories, we don't see them.
Maybe to give you the benefit of the doubt, we do know that a number of ministries have gone. Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Animal and Industry, Ministry of whatever, all these industries have gone. Private sector is very represented. UMA, Uganda Manufacturers Association, Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, all these businesses such as Belawan, the proprietor once told me she's also going. So these businesses, these private sector businesses have gone. So if the government cannot, do
the private,
something, the private can benefit from
it's the private sector representing the country at a large extent, like 70% of our representatives.
Yeah, you could say that.
Apart from the ministries.
You could say that. And we are hoping that from them, at least for them, since they know they are paying most, they should be able to benchmark, because this trade summit has a number and a variety of people from, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
even beyond South Africa, I believe. Yeah.
Let's hope for the best.
And speaking trade, investment, tourism, South Africa is providing a lot more for us, I should say. But I believe we shall do a lot of benchmarking this time around. I want to believe so because, well, regardless of the fact that we are heading where we want to be in regards to industrialization, the economy and everything, but benchmarking from one of Africa's greatest economies should definitely be something we should be considering now. Of course, many deals will definitely be signed. Some may be confidential, as quite a number of those have been, but then you never know. Maybe the ones that will be quite open will benefit Ugandans in one way or the other. Now, gentlemen and lady, as we are summing up with this discussion, what has been your pick of the month of February? We are coming to the end of the month today. Tomorrow will be March. So looking back at some of the business highlights, what has been your key point in the month of February? And you look back and you said, at this one moment, this occurred in Feb. And I watched it, maybe experienced a little bit, did an insight of it, and I hope March will be better.
For me, I believe there are two areas. I would like to begin with insurance. We recently saw when one of the markets caught fire, and then there arose the question of, do SMEs really have an insurance that can benefit them? How best can they access this insurance? Because hundreds or millions of property worth were lost, right. and this is something that should evoke on every person. Maybe I should have my business insured. So away from that, whole pain of losing such business and investment, insurance should evoke in people's minds, because I also do know that insurance has not maybe reached in some people. Some people are still ignorant about insurance. Yeah. So when that market caught fire, I believe it should have. Yeah, Kisenyi market, yeah. I believe some people might have been interested to insure their businesses. Still on insurance, I do know that marine insurers and insurers were complaining that government is leaving them out. Sure. It's leaving them out of the businesses. They are not benefiting. One of the traders who works indigenously or locally with Ugandans said, Ministry of Energy and Petroleum Authority have so far brought in a fourth drilling rig, and there is nothing like insurance for local people. They have not been considered. So insurance growth, I believe the Insurance Regulatory Authority has a lot of work to do in regards to spreading the awareness of what insurance is, in regards to having local content, emulsifying it, because it was passed last year, the National Local Content Bill, emulsifying it and making sure that people benefit from this insurance. If there is something that a huge investment such as oil and gas is taking place in a country, local insurers should be able to take part in whatever capacity they can. And then also in regards to what you mentioned, what made the month of February and what evoked my mind, the issue of procurement. Suppliers were also complaining that of the work system, the PPDA, that is public disposal, or public procurement and disposal of public assets, were complaining that the system they use, the electronic system, is work. It's full of shoddiness. People do not comply, and so that is one of those conferences that I attended, and I saw people were really angry.
Wow. The month of February in Nahawarona's
I've seen a lot of conflicts.
A lot of conflicts, and of course, I look back, and I think the issue to do with insurance has been a key one, because it apparently called upon most of the traders to at least think twice about insurance, and at least understand that insurance is key in business, because lots of property were lost, for example, when fire gutted property in Kisenyi. Andrew,
Yeah.
Your pick of the month of Feb?
Well, my pick of the month, you know, being a huge fan and participant of the arts industry.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot really stop talking about the aspect of multi-choice coming up to say that they're going to give sponsorship to these plays. You know, before, if I had something to put out there with really much more information, I had to pay the media house to pay me. But now the media houses are coming up to really say that. I mean, it has never happened before, and I was really amazed being a participant, and by the way, I'm a stakeholder in there. To me, it made really my the month of February. And of course, this is not something which I really urge any person into this industry. Such opportunities shouldn't be taken for granted. You know, I mean, we should up our game, because I guarantee you, once we have this really sorted out, this industry can employ jobs. Because I see, I mean, our country, honestly, jobs are really scarce, but such avenues can create, you know, the funny thing with entertainment, we can't corrupt. If I have my product out there and it's liked on the African continent, I don't care how much money are you going to pay somebody in South Africa not to like me. I mean, people are going to like me, and when they like me, I'm going to get a strong team, and I'm employing people. I'm employing my personal assistant. I'm employing my somebody to do my makeup. I mean, it's quite a wide range onto this. You know, I go perform somewhere, the owner of that place is earning money. So I really see if this commercialization of the arts industry was my pick, with multi-choice being spearheading this move.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well put. Maybe add something about that. I attended one of MultiChoice's workshops with their content creators. Yes, content creators. Well put. And where I met with Salvador, you know
Salvador, the comedian.
He says that they have been struggling with content. You produce your content, you have injected in a lot of money, you have invested in it.
Yeah.
And someone is literally wanting you to pay
money
to publish.
Yes.
So MultiChoice under Pearl Magic, and with 3 channels they have, Pearl Magic,
Pearl Magic, yeah.
They have given them an avenue, or they have given them a space to showcase their content, and I believe maybe that is the best way to go. And maybe just like how Nollywood is hitting Netflix, and if you do know, Nigeria's Nollywood film and arts industry is contributing a lot. I'm sure you very yeah. So I'm hoping that could be our target as well, with more content creators, because now we know they are going to increase with this kind of avenue and encouragement. Yeah.
And even UCC taking an initiative to train them on how, because when we talk about MultiChoice, we're talking about real content out there, because you need I mean, I need to feel the worth of getting $5,000
if you're
from your one.
All right. And of course, the month of February has been a big one internationally. The rise of artificial intelligence has been a very big pickup from there. This is one of the reasons as to why most of the tech companies now apparently investing more money in artificial intelligence and laying off workers. Just recently, also Twitter laid off more workers, 200 to be precise, as of yesterday, according to the New York Times. So you can easily see the month hasn't been a good one for some employees, but well, I do hope March may present more money for some of you and the employees. It's the month of the salary. It's actually the salary week. Some people have already received notifications. You never know, others will be receiving. I don't know if you've received, but if not, remain hopeful. After the break, we shall be having our own conversations. Stick around.